Welcome everybody to the Washington County Commission meeting. We've already started the meeting about 38 minutes ago with our public comment period. We're now moving to the agenda items, which will lead off first but with an invocation by Stacy Shirtliff from our Interfaith Council.
Our Father in heaven, we come before you this beautiful day in southern Utah, grateful to be able to live in this land and live in a free country. We're so grateful for good citizens here, good leadership, and people who care so much about doing good and doing what's best for families and community members here. We pray that thy spirit will be with all those in attendance and all those who are listening and hearing and making decisions, and we pray for them. We pray for our state, we pray for our nation, and we pray for the nations of the earth, and we most of all pray for peace and pray that each one of us can be a part of the solutions and the answer of peace. And we give thanks for every blessing, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. We'll now have a Pledge of Allegiance led by our good Deputy Kraus from our Washington County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, Deputy. Our first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a means of expediting the consideration of routine matters. If a commissioner requests that items be removed from the consent agenda, those items are placed at the beginning of the regular agenda. Other than requests to remove items, a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda is not debatable.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the consent agenda consisting of the following items. A, consideration of auditor-approved claims for payment for October 18th, 2023 through November 7th, 2023. B, consideration of commission meeting minutes of October 17th, 2023. C, consideration of work meeting minutes of October 17th, 2023. D, consideration of special commission meeting minutes of October 26th, 2023. E, consideration of special commission meeting minutes of November 2nd, 2023. F, consideration of administrative adjustments, real property. G, consideration of administrative adjustments, personal property. H, consideration of applications for property tax abatement, which there are 3. And I, consideration of Amendment 1 to 5 County Association of Governments contract for aging and nutrition services. And that's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 1 on the regular agenda is a presentation by the Cost of County Government Report, which we just wanted, this is more for public knowledge, but just wanted to show, this is from the Utah Taxpayers Association. You'll see here the best and worst. We're going to definitely make fun of our friends nearby who are the worst, but that Washington County is the best county in the entire state of Utah for so many reasons. But on this one, this is the revenue from taxes and fees per capita. We have the lowest revenue per resident in the entire state.
Another slide as well.
The revenue, when you say the best
Return on
revenue, this is the
investment.
return, wait, go ahead and speak to this one.
Well, I think both of these just come from the Utah Taxpayers Association analyzing the tax dollars paid in and the return back on those tax dollars. And I think what it shows is that Washington County is frugal and disciplined and stretches the taxpayers' dollars better than any other county in the state.
By far.
We didn't ask them to rank us, they just did. So.
This isn't like a J.D. Power and Associates where you have to pay to get ranked. This is just, they rank every county in the state, and Washington County is not raising your taxes this year. We haven't for a long, long time, and We have no plans to do so this year anyway. So this is just reporting back to our citizens in a return and report fashion that your tax dollars are being spent better than, and the lowest revenue and the best spent per citizen in the entire state of Utah. So that was all that one. It's a very brief presentation. Just wanted the public to know. Item number 2 is a presentation on the Dove Center Community Outreach with Kurt and company. City Councilman Kurt Ivey from Washington City and
Of directors for the Dove Center. And
Thank
our
you.
executive director, Jillian Penhill, couldn't be here today. She was quite sick. So
Uh-oh.
she didn't want to share the love that way.
tell her thank you for that.
Yes. So just briefly, the Dove Center has been a working nonprofit organization in Washington County for over 30 years. The Aaron Kimball Foundation started it, and then they merged together, and we provide services for domestic violence and intimate partner violence and sexual assault in Washington County. We have a hospital team that meets sexual assault survivors at the hospital and walks them through that process, gets them looped into the services that they need. And right now, with the new LAP protocol that the state legislature put into effect on July 1, which is the lethality assessment protocol, we've seen a 55% increase in the number of victims and survivors that are being looped into our services. And that has created a great burden for us, so much so that we are buying a house. Transitional housing is our number one need. Getting someone into the shelter and dealing with the immediate crisis, we can handle that. Getting them from crisis to surviving and out in transitional housing is the hardest need because housing is difficult here in Washington County. So we are purchasing a house. Kurt's going to talk more about that with capacity building, but we appreciate all that Washington County has done for us and the cities. We also have services in Kane County, so we are trying to cover a wide geographic region with not a lot of resources, and we appreciate all that the commissioners and that Washington County has helped us do in the past.
So when this legislation that you talked about, is that a legislation that when agencies interact with somebody in crisis, they refer them to somebody? Is that
Right.
kind of how that works?
So Washington City and St. George City were already doing this lethality assessment protocol as a pilot. And what it is, it's a series of 13 questions. And if you, as a victim of intimate partner violence or domestic violence, if a first responder goes out to a call and they suspect domestic violence, they'll ask the questions on this lethality assessment protocol. And if there are 4 or 5 questions that if they answer them a certain way, those are triggers for those officers to loop them into Dove and to those services. So once victims have language to go, oh yeah, my life is in danger, then they can get looped into the services. Before this, often people would say, oh, it's no big deal. He's done this before, she's done this before, it's no problem. Now they actually have language, and the officers have language that they can document. This person said yes to this question, yes to this question. The lethality assessment protocol went into legislation based on the missteps in the Gabby Petito case in Moab.
Yeah.
The right questions were asked, the wrong questions were asked. The right answers were given, the wrong answers were given, and there was just a miscommunication about how lethal that situation really was. So now our officers have language that helps them, our victims have language that helps them, but we've seen a 55% increase in people who are seeking our services.
That is an interesting case. What I've read, it seemed like the agency acted the best they could. They separated the situation, but they didn't have
Exactly.
experts to kind of help guide
Yeah.
after that. So yeah.
Yeah, and this new legislation is good because it gives practical, reasonable language that can help an escalated situation de-escalate.
Very good.
And Kurt's going to talk about capacity.
Councilman?
Commissioners, ladies, it was great seeing you earlier at the groundbreaking over at the new Toker Reservoir. We're excited about that. It's great to see that infrastructure coming forward. I very much appreciate the opportunity to visit with you tonight. I know that your agendas are full and your time is valuable, so we'll get right to it. My position on the Dove board is to work on capacity. Our chair just shared with you one of the reasons that we're seeing a spike and an increase in numbers. Of course, we're growing. And a lot of times people don't understand what Dove is. First of all, it's a nonprofit. We operate in the vein of a nonprofit. So we have a board of directors. We have to raise our money. We have some grants and funding, but as you know, a lot of those federal, state, and local grants and funds, they're at a minimum right now. So what we're doing, we're not here to ask for any county money or anything like that, but we just want to share with your audience and with the good folks of Washington County that we have a dire need. The board just recently took a leap of faith, and I dragged my feet longer than the rest. I did because, you know, you always have to have a plan when you buy something. You always, how are we going to pay for it? What are we going to do? And it took me a long time to get on board, but what drove me to vote yes is the actual dire need that we have for beds, for space. And so we took a leap of faith, and we know that our community is going to come through. We increased our bed limits, but just let me share some quick numbers with you that you might find interesting. This is for our fiscal year 2023. Over 1,400 individuals were served. We had over 2,200 helpline calls that's available 24/7. We had almost 10,000 emergency shelter and transitional housing bed nights, nights that folks spent in beds and shelter. 1,700 children served. Now that one ought to give you pause for just a minute, as it does me. Over 1,700 children that are part of this abuse that's going on. And then over almost 13,000 services provided. We have a staff that is driven by service, by understanding that this is a part of our society that a lot of times we don't talk about because it's not pleasant, it's not fun, it's not exciting, but it's part of our society that we need served. And what I'm asking here tonight, as part of the capacity position that I have on the Dove board, is to please help any way you can. When you have any avenues or any ways that we might be able to talk or leverage or visit or trade or barter or, well, we won't steal, but anything else, then we need to build our infrastructure. I have had very valuable conversations with some developers that found remnant pieces of property that we want to put into a land bank and hold that at a future time where we either will build on that or sell it to provide the financing for additional housing. But our beds are full. We do a great job with what we have, but we're finding that the need is outriding what we can provide. And the hardest thing ever in this job is turning somebody away. And we try hard to do that, but with funds that are tight, please just share in all your influence and all your circles that, and those that are listening or here in the audience tonight, please understand that if you know somebody that is looking to maybe donate a house or donate property and they want a good cause, we would put it to good use. You know, we understand that we have a lot of great partnerships here. We have the Children's Justice Center, we have Switchpoint, we have a lot of other nonprofits in our community that are a valuable and a vital cog in this wheel. But we feel like that we serve a certain group of people that oftentimes have a hard time finding where their first step is. And we want, when they take that step, we want to be there to receive them.
Very good.
Well, thank you for everything you do. We say this about a lot of organizations, but it's God's work, and thankless to some, but grateful for those that you serve, obviously. So thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We left you with materials, so.
Yep, we
Thank
love
you.
that.
We got them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a presentation of the Washington County Preliminary 2024 budget. Ryan Sullivan, our esteemed clerk auditor.
Good afternoon. Get situated here. All right. I don't know if you want to take care of this beforehand before we start with the 2024, but we also need to open the 2023 budget for amendments that will be finalized on the December 19th meeting. So
So do we,
Do we need to do that today?
do you want to do that motion right now?
Yeah.
As a part of this?
Is that on the agenda? Can you do that?
And do it as part of the 2024 presentation?
Sorry, and we'll notice it up for his actual hearing on the 19th.
Okay, so just opening the hearing, but the actual,
Hearing is
Got it.
later.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Take that motion,
Mr.
then.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we open up the 2023 budget. That will be,
Yeah, we'll finalize that.
will be finalized in our,
On
which meeting?
December 19th.
In our December 19th meeting.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. That is now open, so we can have the public have input and finalize that on December 19th. So going back to this agenda item then.
Yeah, so we're talking 2024 now, and our proposed preliminary budget. This is still a work in progress until we have our final meeting on the 19th. And I just want to say that I think that these PowerPoint presentations and the budgets that have been published in the past have worked and they've been great, but Washington County we've kind of been growing and there's more technology out there, and we are looking at some different budgeting software that will be more transparent and give more information to the public. St. George City, who I see some of their representatives are here today from their finance department,
Half the city's here today.
they have a great budgeting software that you can go look at on their website that's interactive, and you can really drill down and see what's happening in the city. And that's my goal for next year, is to get some software implemented that we can give a better picture than just a brief PowerPoint presentation.
I just think it's great that St. George is smiling so much to realize that you're just saying that you're going to follow their example.
Are they smiling?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like us to have them removed?
Anyways, we can jump right into this. Do I use the arrow key or am I too far away? Let's see here. I might have to just yell. Make sure I didn't skip ahead. Looks like I did. Sarah, I'm just gonna put that right there.
Now you're just flashing through the whole.
That's it, folks, we're
That's it,
done.
if you
All
follow
right,
that.
thank you very much, Ryan. Appreciate that.
Can you take us back? I think this is too far away. Okay, here we go. This is a picture of our general fund, and it has 2023's budget and our proposed 2024 budget there. As it relates to revenues, we'll go more into depth on the first item, our taxes, on another slide. We've got our licenses and permits. That 39,000 is mainly marriage licenses. We over budgeted a little bit last year, thinking there'd be more people that got married, but looking at the trend, we're gonna back that down a little bit.
Not as much love in the air, I guess.
There's not. This intergovernmental is the largest contributor to that revenue is the reimbursement from the state for our Purgatory Corrections Center to house their state inmates. This fines and forfeitures is, it's mainly the justice court, the revenue that they collect from people being naughty. And let's go to the next slide, Sarah. Do you have any questions about that? Stop me if you do. This, again, is the general fund as it relates to revenue and taxes. You can see that our current property tax for this year, we had budgeted at 12.5, and this is because that revenue is going up on our property tax, that's not a tax increase. In fact, this year, Washington County actually was able to lower their property tax rate because of some general obligation bonds that we're getting close to paying off. That increase is mainly due to new growth. As new properties come online, they contribute to the base and more revenue flows in. We've got RDA taxes. Again, that fee assessed taxes, most of that is from the Justice Court. This 13.75 million, that's our 1/4% option tax. Whenever you purchase something in Washington County, 1/4% of the sales tax comes back to the county. Next slide. These are the main departments in the general fund. You can see, I guess I'm responsible for the biggest increase here in the clerk, auditor, and elections. The biggest reason for that is next year is our presidential election. It's going to be, we've got 3 elections we have to do, and it takes a lot of people, a lot of hours, a lot of money. Also built in there is some budgeting software like I'd mentioned before. And I got some help. You were kind enough to get me some extra bodies. I went to the commission and said I can't work 7 days a week anymore, and so we've got some additional help. But most of that's due to a presidential election next year.
And now St. George isn't smiling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Do you have any questions on that?
Obviously, public safety is a big one
Yeah,
in
well,
our budget.
it will be good to see that on I think it's our next slide there, Sarah. This is the general fund expenses on a pie chart. And you can see that over half of the general fund expenses go to public safety. So you can see that Washington County does back we're tan. We got our tan uniforms over here. So.
But also, Ryan, when you consider that 14% of the budget is for the attorneys, which is also dealing with public safety.
Yeah, that's putting the bad guys into that 53%, at least a large majority of it.
We have to run a hotel to keep them all once they commit crime.
A very, very large hotel.
Yes.
And we have to pay for their public defense as well, so.
So, I mean, if you were looking at this as a national budget, I would consider a lot of that stuff non-discretionary, like the public safety portion, that we don't really have a lot of wiggle room on that. It is what it is on that we have to run a jail and it's got to be staffed 24 hours a day.
The Constitution and state law also,
Yeah.
Miranda rights, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. These are not discretionary things. If we follow the Constitution, you can't get away from it.
All right, next one there. All right, this is our B&C, our road fund that is mainly funded from fuel tax and a portion of car registrations. Keeps our county roads nice. Next slide. All right, this is our municipal services fund. It's actually being proposed to be a little bit, it's pretty flat. It might end up being about the same as we continue to work on this proposed budget through December. But the municipal services fund is mainly funds our services that service the unincorporated areas, like our Public Works Department, Community Development, GIS. Our sheriff, the sheriff line there, that is not the correctional facility. That is our patrol department. We have fire control, building inspection, maintenance, weed, and our highway beautification. So yeah, we spend a lot of money on public safety, and we're glad to have him. The good Sheriff Brooksby, he really fights for his employees too, so. Next slide. All right, one of our levies that you'll see on your property tax statement is assessing and collecting. There's a local and a multi-county. This is how this fund receives its revenue, and it's the primary source of revenue for our treasurer and assessor, part of our recorder, and some of our other departments that help with the different assessing and collecting tasks are funded from this fund. And again, that increase in revenue isn't a tax increase. That's mainly attributed from new growth in the county. All right, next slide there. Our county library fund is also a levy that is on your property tax bill. Not a lot has changed other than just an increase in the base from, again, new growth. I didn't notice anything that was newer in the works for the library fund. So go to the next one there. Our next fund is our Council of Aging. They provide services at the St. George Senior Center, the Hurricane Center, and the Enterprise Center. It is funded from a portion of the county makes a contribution as well as some grants. So they provide a great service there as well.
Can I just call out, based on the slide here, Ryan, that we like that our seniors are out doing things and are active. We don't actually own any golf courses, nor do we provide golf and leisure services or mountain biking. But we're glad that they do them.
They looks great on this slide.
Just want to make sure that's not in the budget. They do look really good on the slide. I like the pops of color, but we are not providing these through tax dollars.
I was talking to Trevor Coombs, is in the audience. So I'm not really sure, but there's probably a really good possibility he made this PowerPoint presentation when he worked for the county. So I'll blame it on him. All right, next slide. All right, this is where all the money's at. This is our tourism fund, and you can see there's just some big numbers. That TRT is our transient room tax. When people stay in our hotels, there's a tax that comes into this fund. You can see that it is significant. State code requires that 47% of these funds be spent on promotion. So it's almost half of the money has to be spent on money to get people to come here to spend more money, which is, yeah.
Well, we have some of our tourism department here, and obviously they're good at their jobs, so.
We like them, and there was a couple, yeah, I talked about that, so, any questions?
Yeah, we can call this out. We've done this many times before, but to your point, Ryan, on this slide, the sales tax that is received for cities and for the county, much of that comes from tourists when they come and they shop and they buy stuff in stores, and they spend a lot of money. I don't know if it's still true, but for one of our largest cities here in the county, at least last year, 29% came from their general fund came from sales tax paid by tourists. A large portion of the 15 million or 14 million that you had a few slides ago came from tourists. If you didn't have that, the residents would pay that tax, and so tourists actually do contribute a fair amount and offset things that residents would have to pay for.
Absolutely. Next slide. This is our county recreation fund. This is primarily funded with restaurant tax when we go out to eat. This line right here. And when you rent a car, and when you rent a side-by-side out to Sand Hollow. I'm just going to read off some of the expenses that go along with this fund. Our USU Extension Office is is funded through this. Our regional park, our convention center, our county fair, Confluence Park, our shooting sports park. Those are the main departments that this is funded with. All right, next slide. These are some of our other departments for the Habitat, the HCP, our different grant endowments, flood control, RAP tax, and our corridor preservation fund. All right, next slide. All right, now this is our Fund 33 is basically our debt that we have. We talked a little bit earlier about some of our bonds. We're getting close to paying off our general obligation bonds. This library fund has 3 years left on it, but make sure I'm pointing to the right one. This library and Council of Aging bond will be paid off next year. They're not callable bonds, we can't pay them off early, but we'll be able to stop collecting tax on those in 2025. We'll have enough money in our fund balances to cover those. So I would expect another decrease on our general obligation bond line for next year's property tax. Most of the rest of these loans are what I would call a pass-through, that we've essentially borrowed money on behalf of some of these other special service districts. They pay us. There's some fire trucks and fire stations that are in there. The other big one we have is the attorney's office. We still have some years left on that one. Next slide, that's it. Again, this isn't final. We're going to be working on this a lot with our budget committee and different department heads through December. And yeah, it's been fun to get to know all the different directors and department heads and work with them on their budgets. I can say for the most part, I've been impressed with working with the different departments of how frugal they are. They really do. They have their employees in mind, and they are cognizant of these are county funds, and it was nice to go through that process with them. But do we have any questions about the proposed 2024 budget?
No, you've done a great job. It's been, I think like everybody, it might be hard to see when you're looking at some of those funds, but especially the general fund where you have your public safety and also Fund 12, that's our municipal service. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on those funds, but I think with your work and the work of all of our departments, I think we've been able to come up with a budget, and we're very aware of everybody in our county that is, families and stuff that are also trying to be disciplined in this time. And so making that budget balance, you did a great job. And I don't think, in the time I've been a commissioner, I don't think I've spent this many hours on a budget as this year. But at the same time, the budget is good, it's solid, and so thank you.
I'd like to
I was
compliment.
just going to say, I've had a lot of good help from our staff this year because I've needed it.
Well, I was going to compliment you and the staff, and I want everyone in the public to know they can go into a deeper dive, obviously, once, they can look at prior years' expenditures and they can see where things have gone. It's a very transparent process. We just put the proposed budget out there showing the big picture, but they can do a deeper dive. And I was especially interested in some, I'm glad St. George is here because they have a much bigger budget, but in reality, it's more complex than what some are saying on the radio and other places, where in reality, their general fund and their other complexities of their budget are not being portrayed properly through other mediums. And because people aren't doing their budget homework, that they can online. And I'm hoping that they will take that up for the county's aspect too, when they look and say, where are taxpayer dollars going? And then, they'll get a greater perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, lucky for us, we don't have a sewer system to run or a power company to run. Or, let's see, what else they have? Water company. Yeah, we don't have water, sewer, or power, so.
Yeah, and again, I just wanted to reiterate that in 2025, I hope to have a better reporting system that will be better for us and for the public to be able to drill down on some of this stuff.
Yeah, be good.
We love the transparency. Thank you very much. Thanks to the budget committee who helps you assemble this and all your hard work. This is so much fun.
I guess I better stay up here and see if the motion passes.
Very good. So are we making a motion to accept the preliminary
It says
budget?
presentation.
It says presentation, so do we make a motion at this time? Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we'll have a public hearing in December,
Okay.
and at that time, we'll open it up for public comment, and then after the public comment, then we'll,
Yep, thanks
Pass
to
the
you and
budgets.
your
Thank
team.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ryan.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
point of order here, I'd like to see if we could move item number 9, and I make a motion that we do so to the next item for the purpose of not only brevity, but also the fact that we have guests here that also need to go.
So you have a motion to amend the agenda and move item number 9 to item number 4, and then items 4 through 8 down to 5 through 9.
I'll second that motion, and, but I do want to say, it's my understanding that city council meetings go until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. We're not going to be here that late, so we're just barely getting started.
I believe it's flood control.
Oh, by all
Flood
means.
control
Oh,
at 5,
very good,
so.
very good.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We will now take item number 4, consideration of resolution number R 2023-3196, a resolution of the legislative body of Washington County approving an amended interlocal agreement between Washington County and the redevelopment agency of the city of St. George. Nice brief title. Chad, I have you listed, but whoever from St. George is.
I think it's Chad Thomas, the Economic Development Director. And whoever else he wants to bring.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for your opportunity to consider this agenda item on your agenda. We are here to request for the proposed amendment here to the Tech Ridge CTA. This is a really important project, not only for the city of St. George, but our entire region. This region has worked very hard to create a place where we can help preserve and not export our number one resource, which is our kids and our talent. And we really feel that this Tech Ridge development will be able to create this synergy to create a place where technology companies not only want to continue to grow and invest here, but also attract new business here. And so this Tech Ridge proposal is something that we feel really strongly about, and that's why we're here to create this, or to enact the CDA. The CDA is to pay for the heavy infrastructure lift up on the ridge. As you know, it's up the old airport site, and we are getting additional access points there. And so the tax increment financing will be going to that heavy infrastructure lift up there. But we're happy to answer any specific questions, but we also want to be brief because we know you had a long, quite a large agenda tonight.
Very good.
I've read through it. Do you guys have any questions?
No, not at all. This is a great project for not only the city of St. George, but for all of the county, as it is going to be a great investment. It is also something that was actually done a while back and then never acted on as things have kind of changed around. So in some ways, I've always felt that we owed it to the city of St. George and the development group to more or less, I mean, we have made some changes that help them, but also costs have gone up a lot. So anyway, I support it.
Mr. Chair, I make motion that we approve resolution number R 2023-3196, a resolution of the legislative body of Washington County approving an amended interlocal agreement between Washington County and the redevelopment agency of the city of St. George.
And I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Great
And
work.
this-
Thank you.
This is a good thing. It is a great thing for economic development. It's a great thing for the whole region. This is not a St. George issue. This is a tech hub in southern Utah that is a great attraction for other businesses, for the entrepreneurial spirit that's here to help foster that. And when it comes down to the actual dollars of the tax, and it makes sense moving forward. This is something we're not being able to tax at all. We're delaying for a while in order to help get this off the ground, in order to have a much bigger payoff someday in the future that may not come around without this investment. And so it's all of the taxing entities coming together to help out. And I'm happy to do so. I'm excited to see what's going to finally, after much discussion, going to see what happens up on Tech Ridge, and this is going to be good.
And Chad, thank you for all your hard work, and the mayor and city council and city manager. I mean, you guys have, this hasn't been easy, as you've dealt with the different taxing entities, but good job. It's great.
Mosquito board, I tell
The
you.
mosquito board, they always give you such a
That's the
hard
one
time.
going to hold it out for you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we will now move to item number 5, which is the consideration of purchase requests. Ray. They don't like you, Ray. They're leaving.
I don't blame them. The first one here is for the sheriff's office, and this is for food items for the kitchen for the jail. And hopefully this will get us through the end of the year at $100,000. This is just a continuation of a blanket PO that we had already used up. The next one, this is kind of for the commission's office, but in the county in general. This is for, to finish and install the freestanding cover over the antique well here to the north side of our building. This is for $20,440. We were able to use tourism money that goes towards restoration. This next one is for the Legacy Park. This is for announcer booth repairs and a little bit of construction, and we included the food court storage in here as well. The costs include labor, materials, replace any flooring, AC units, countertops, doors, drywall, paint, cabinetry, windows, structure, security, and demo if needed. And this is for 4 different announcer booths. This is $48,802.82. And the next one is for our emergency services. This is a grant-funded item. This is for propane emergency response kits. This will be distributed through to our all hazards teams, of which there are 3. This is $17,850. The next one is also for emergency services. This is also grant-funded. This is for an enclosed trailer for our CERT team. It's an 8.5 by 16 enclosed trailer for $15,890. Next one is also for emergency services. Also, this one here is in regards and goes along with our state agreement for fire suppression. This is for a mastication project in Browse. The cost includes thinning of trees, labor, and equipment, which is the bull hog that cuts the trees and grinds them. And this is for $13,800. The next one is also per our state agreement for fire suppression. This is what is referred to as in-kind money, is basically a match. This is for a side-by-side UTV for the fire warden. This is for $24,455.73. This cost includes labor and logistics. It also includes windshield, side mirror kit, street legal kit, a spare wheel, 10-ply tires, and a full poly roof. This is for all fire safety. The next one is for emergency services. This is a grant-funded item. This is for cybersecurity. This is for firewall support. This will be distributed to the Washington County Water Conservancy District for $11,330. The next one is for our tourism department. This is for a non-resident population analysis regarding water use. This is being paid to the Washington County Water Conservancy District as part of the analysis. This is for $13,500. This is a shared cost. This is our portion. Next one is also for tourism. This is a sponsorship for the 100 years of film and TV for $10,000. The next one is also for tourism. This is for the WIR NACO Food and Convention Center services. This is for $29,028.20. And the next one, this is for our community development department. They were in need of a new vehicle. One of theirs has bit the dust. We were presented with a great opportunity. This wasn't exactly a budgeted item, but we were able to find the money because money was saved elsewhere. And so we were presented with this opportunity, and we were able to get a used vehicle for just over 27,000 miles for $35,100. Same situation on the next one for our building maintenance department. Again, not necessarily budgeted, but we were able to, enough budget was saved elsewhere that we were able to make this happen, because again, we were presented with a great opportunity. And this is also for a used vehicle. Both of these were 2021 Ford F-150s. This one was just over 30,000 miles and for $35,000. And unless there's any questions, that is all I have.
Very good, Ray. Thank you for all the good work you do. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the purchase request as has been presented by Ray.
Second.
A motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Item number, what is now 6, consideration of ordinance number 2023-1240-0, an ordinance for a roadway dedication for the Washington County Regional Park Road and Easements. Todd Edwards, but Todd, just get comfortable, because I see your name a lot on here, so.
Yeah, I'll try to make it brief. This is for a road dedication plat out near the fairgrounds. This is called Regional Park Road. It's always just been a road. Everybody's probably thought it was a dedicated road, but it's just been kind of a driveway. We're now officially making it into a road dedication. They'll also establish utility easements that will allow us to provide power to the new EOC building out there. So we're recommending this be approved.
Very good. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2023-1240-0, an ordinance approving the Regional Park Road dedication plat in Washington County, Utah. And like Todd said, this is the existing road that goes by the fairgrounds. We're just making it officially a county platted road where it's just been a non-platted road.
Right, it's just kind of been a...
It won't drive any
piece of asphalt.
smoother, just because we passed this
Second.
ordinance.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 7 is consideration of ordinance number 2023-1241-0, an ordinance for a roadway dedication for the Shooting Sports Park Road and easements.
Very similar to the last one. This is just an extension over into the Shooting Park Road, the first portion of it. That'll give frontage to our new EOC building, the easements also.
Now, my only question on this, Todd, is, and I couldn't quite tell from the drawings, but this is for the EOC building. As you turn the corner, you either have an option to go on into the industrial park that's now there,
Right.
or turn. And we're not dedicating the entire one, just up to the EOC building.
Yep, up to the
Okay.
EOC building, the frontage along it, so that we'll have access to utility easements.
Super. Did anybody make a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve ordinance number 2023-1241-0.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 8 is consideration of resolution number R 2023-3194, a resolution approving an amendment to the agreement between Washington County and Bowen Collins and Associates Incorporated for the Warner Draw Watershed Environmental Assessment Project, amending one of the 5 additional sub-projects, which is Project 5 in the Hurricane Irrigation Efficiency Project.
It's an ongoing project since about 2018. It's funded fully by the NRCS. The Hurricane Irrigation Project is enlarged in scope since we originally negotiated the contract. They've added a pond, changed a pond location, added a lot, probably about 40% more piping. And so this is just to provide that engineering work to get it ready to go to bid this next year and also the following
And
year.
this is all pass-through dollars within RCS, right?
Yep, no cost to the county at all.
Very good. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pass Resolution R-2023-3194 with the title that you have previously read into the record.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 9 is consideration of resolution number R-2023-3195, a resolution approving a contract between Washington County and All-Star Excavating LLC for asphalt improvements on Sheep Bridge Road from SR9 to the bridge.
This is an opportunity we have to get a portion of our Sheep Bridge Road asphalted. It's in an area that has quite a few residences, and so there's a lot of dust. This opportunity came to us, and would like to approve this proposal to do from SR9 down to the bridge. And so it's basically in a dedicated road now, and it has pretty sufficient road base on it already. So it'd basically be just grooming it up, shaping it, and putting a layer of asphalt on it.
No, it seems like a good price and a great project. I move that we approve resolution number R-2023-3195 as read into the minutes prior.
Can I
No,
add
second.
that needs to be done emergently because of the weather? We got to get it laid and the asphalt done prior to winter.
Yep, temperatures are specific for that kind of work.
Yes.
That's my motion.
I will second that motion.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Back on track with the regular agenda. Item number 10 is consideration of resolution number R-2023-3197, a resolution authorizing the execution of a quitclaim deed from Washington County to the Kimball Gardner Family Trust.
This is me. So over a year and a half ago, there was a tax sale. This property did not sell, and so the county took it back. It is a remnant behind somebody's home. The taxes were written off over a year and a half ago. The property is of very de minimis value to the county and of only interest to the people who own the lot in front of it, which are the Gardners. The Gardners have done all of the cost and expense for the survey work and for the quitclaim deed work that's proposed today, where the county would quitclaim it to the Gardners in order to divest the county of any interest in the remnant that is deemed useless to us, but of value to the Gardners. So that is the proposal, that we quitclaim our interest in it to the Kimball Gardner Trust.
Very good. Yeah, it seems that we have little parcels like this that come up almost every tax sale. I'm not quite sure how they ever received their property description, but anyway, it seems to be somewhat of a routine practice with us. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution R-2023-3197, a resolution authorizing the execution of a quitclaim deed from Washington County to the Kimball Gardner Family Trust.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Item number 11 is consideration of resolution R-2023-3198, a resolution authorizing the execution by Washington County of the Old Farm Subdivision Plat in St. George City because the county has a partial ownership interest in the property.
The reason we own part of this is because of COG funding. This right-of-way was purchased with COG funding, and as part of that, the county always maintains partial ownership to make sure that it does go towards roads. And so as part of this subdivision, it would be dedicated as public roads, and so we would recommend that we sign as an owner on this project.
I move that we approve resolution R-2023-3198 as explained.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Todd, is this your last? That's the last one, Chad. Todd. Number 12 is consideration of resolution R-2023-3199, a resolution authorizing the acceptance by quitclaim deed of property from ONP LLC to Washington County of property by Country Lane and Landfill Road, and authorizing execution of the related final plat.
So this is a similar sort of thing to last time, except that this one's in Washington City, and we'd be signing as an owner. What they have done is realign the road as part of a subdivision, an industrial subdivision, to make it a four-way intersection. Part of that land is on county property. They have done all the improvements, so it doesn't cost us anything, and then they've also provided us a quick claim to allow us to keep our driveway, and they've also relocated our fence and our gate so that we still have control in going into the landfill, but this will make it a much better intersection with curb gutter, sidewalk, and everything.
Very good, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution R-2023-3199 as you have read so clearly and articulately.
Second.
That title.
Thank you. Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Item number 13 is consideration of resolution number R-2023-3200, a resolution approving the expenditure of TRT funding for an event marketing agreement for 2 Vacation Races, Inc. events.
So the Tourism Tax Advisory Board recently voted to approve funding for these 2 events through Vacation Races. One is the Zion Half Marathon, and the other one is the Zion Ultra, which is ultra trail running. So we've kind of tapped into that endurance athlete market again. Both events should have over 4,000 athletes in total between the 2 events in March and April, and we're looking to approve the expenditure of $30,000, $15,000 per event to expand the marketing between Greater Zion Tourism, Washington County, and Vacation Races and those endurance athletes.
Very good.
I move that we approve resolution 2023-3200, approving the expenditure of TRT funding for an event marketing agreement for 2 Vacation Races, Inc. events.
And I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Aye.
Item number 14 is consideration of resolution number R-2023-3201, a resolution approving TRT funding for marketing sponsorships and event funding for nonprofit organizations in Washington County.
Hello.
Jamie.
Good to see you, commissioners, again.
Thank you.
I see you so often anymore. It's a nice, pleasant treat.
Yeah, we never show up.
Yeah. The Greater Zion Washington County Tourism Task Advisory Board recently voted to approve funding for the following nonprofit organizations. Marketing sponsorships with the St. George Area Chamber of Commerce for printing of their area guide, $30,000. With Arts to Zion for funding of marketing of their Crossroads in Rural America Traveling Smithsonian exhibit for $12,000, total of $42,000 for that. And for event funding with Utah Prospects Incorporated for their Great Western Classic Basketball Tournament, $25,000 for a total of $67,000.
And this is mostly all promotion dollars, right? They advertise and then get reimbursed.
So you have the marketing sponsorship
Okay.
with the 2, and then event funding to help offset the costs of court rentals and things like that.
Very good. Well, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution R-2023-3201, a resolution approving TRT funding for marketing sponsorships and event funding for nonprofit organizations in Washington County. If I would have just read the title, I wouldn't have had to ask Jamie the question.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 15 is consideration of resolution number R-2023-3202, a resolution approving the execution of an interlocal cooperation agreement with Virgin Town regarding official ballot drop boxes to enhance the safety and security of ballots and elections. Ryan Sullivan.
I didn't know I was up. Victoria, you might have,
If you need me, I'm here for you, Ryan.
all right.
Better hurry, it's gonna get dark before I can't drive.
Everybody's saying it's really freaking Victor and I out.
Yeah. I'm like a chicken, I'm looking for the roost right now.
So, yeah, well, at all the municipalities, they have a drop box, and we didn't have Virgin, their interlocal sign, so this is getting that done.
Very good. I'm assuming you already have the drop box there since the ballots have been mailed. Well, we probably better make an agreement with them.
They wanted an unmanned one, so under state law, they have to have surveillance.
Camera.
So they have a camera, and this just allows them to accept official ballots in an official ballot drop box, and us to then count those ballots.
Follow state law. Well, I move then that we approve Resolution R 2023-3202, the execution of an interlocal cooperation agreement with Virgin Town regarding official ballot drop boxes to enhance the safety and security of ballots and elections.
I'll second that motion.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thanks, Victoria.
Finally, we have consideration of Resolution R 2023-3203, a resolution approving a services and advertising exchange agreement between Washington County and InfoWest. Our esteemed County Administrator, Nicole Felshaw.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to give a little background, so Legacy Park used to partner with AWI for internet services, very little internet services, but it was great at the time. And then InfoWest bought out AWI, and so then they assumed Legacy Park. We have since recognized that we do not have enough services there for events and different things that come in. And for the last about year and a half, we've been working with InfoWest, doing a lot of groundwork, digging so that they can add new fiber, new fiber out there. And so we're looking to be able to continue with this partnership with them. And I have met with InfoWest and with Susie, the director at Legacy Park, and we worked out an agreement where they will provide us a discounted services for a discounted monthly rate, and then we would also expand advertising for them at Legacy Park. We currently have advertised for them in exchange for what they've given us thus far, and we've just expanded that because we have a need to expand our services.
Okay.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Well, I'd like to congratulate Susie and Nicole for working so hard to get internet out there. It seems like it's been a long conversation, but it's been good. It's been productive. So, Mr. Chairman, with that, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution R-2023-3203, a resolution approving a service advertising exchange agreement between Washington County and InfoWest. And I'd like to thank InfoWest. They've been
Yeah.
patient, good to work with, and they've been a great community partner. So,
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, thank you, InfoWest, for the help with that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And with that, we have concluded our agenda. Meetings are rebroadcast daily on TDS cable channels 22 and 108 in high definition at 10, 2, and 5:30. They're also available on demand at youtube.com/community education channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.